terms of not knowing if three of your backs will be available. How do things change for you personally? What's your biggest challenge?
The first thing I do is I worry about them. I'll make sure they're all right because I like all my guys. I love all my guys, so I always worry about if they're all right first. Football-wise, the biggest challenge is just having a plan to get ready. We're good. We know they're going to put a ball down on Sunday afternoon, so we got to have somebody out there and get them ready to go, and it's going to be a great opportunity for whoever that is to go out there.
Are all three feeling okay since you brought it up?
They're different places in this whole thing, so they're at the end of the day they're going to be fine. At the end of the day they're going to be fine, but right now they're at different stages of it. Some feel better than others.
You're feeling okay.
I feel fine, knock on wood. Yeah, physically I'm fine.
Having the Duke Johnson, having the Duke Johnson, how comforting is it to have an experienced back? What does he give you?
Well, I mean, Duke's come in here and he's worked hard and he's he's prepared and he's been working to get up on our terminology. We played him a couple weeks ago and he's continued to work. That hasn't changed, and he comes in every day. And again, we're going to sort the whole thing out and figure out what gives us the best chance to win on Sunday.
I was going to ask you if this week you were going to be having to split out the reps among whoever's left standing. Seems like you don't have a choice in that regard, do you?
Well, we spread out the reps every week because we never know what's going to happen. So everybody's got to be ready. In our room, we talk about it that you never know when an opportunity is going to come up. And so every guy has to be ready, so we spread out the reps because we don't know what the situation is. And the reality is, one guy's not going to play 72 plays. That's just it doesn't happen very often like that. So there's going to be multiple players in there. How many multiple players, we don't know. When that happens, situations, all those things, those are all things that we're still working through and we're still talking about and we're going to have a plan for. But it takes some time to get all that done.
How concerned are you, not just for your guys, but league-wide? What were there, like 32 positive tests? 38 yesterday. How concerned are you that this might be a sign of things to come?
Yeah, that's for people that do different things than me. I'm trying to figure out how to get to New York Jets this weekend and make sure I've got the guys that I need on the field and that we're ready to execute at a high level this weekend. The rest of it, that's somebody else got to deal with that.
You guys have shown a greater commitment to the run game in recent games, even with guys potentially out. You still want to make sure you're doing that regardless of who's in the back.
Well, that's always our plan. Our plan is to be a balanced attack, so we want to make sure we have a commitment to the run game in every game plan. Some game plans are different than others, and some games go different than others. But our intention is to always have the run game be an integral part of our game plan.
Flo said you might get Malcolm Brown back this week. How do you think he played before the quad injury?
I think Malcolm gave us some things. He's a competitive person. He's really smart. He does a great job in the room, getting to know everything. Tremendous work ethic, everything about that. But I feel that way about all those guys. I think they all come to work, and I think they all are competitive, and they all want to be good at what they're doing. So I think they all fit that same mold, and Malcolm's no different.
And with Duke, what does he do well as a runner that you've been able to observe in the one game that he played in?
Yeah, I mean, I think Duke, he's an aggressive runner. I think he's got vision, and he slams it up in there. I think he can find run lanes, and we just gotta. Yeah, I think that's what he does best.
How do you feel about how Jared Dokes has looked on the practice squad?
Jared's continuing to develop. That's that role on the practice squad. He's here. He's been with us. He's been working. And again, he's one of those players that sometimes the opportunity is going to present itself. If that's what it is, then he's got to be ready for it. He's working for that. He wants that opportunity. I know that. So if it presents itself, he's got to be prepared and be ready for it.
Eric, I believe you guys added Dexter Williams. What interested you about him?
Yeah, I think I remember Dexter when he came out at the combine, and I just think he plays with good effort. I think he's a smart guy. I think he's got vision, and I don't know a lot more about him than what we did in the workout, which isn't really playing football. So it's being in with the classroom with him, spending time with him, getting him on the practice field. That's when we'll find out really how much he would be able to handle if that role came available.
We've seen Albert with the ball in his hands might he be able to contribute in the run game as well?
He might, yeah. Yeah, he might.
Do you eagerly await the test results every day now for Philip Miles Savant?
No, I can't control that. And the thing I can control is that we've got to come up with a game plan for whoever's going to be in there, and that's what I focus on. I certainly don't want anybody, my players or anybody, to be sick. But we got to move forward, and we're going to move forward with who's ever here and what we have to do best.
I wouldn't press much on the personal nature of it, but since you mentioned the three of them are at various stages, all I would ask you would be this: are all of their conditions mild as opposed to serious?
You'd have to ask Kyle what the definition of serious and how. I don't know mild from serious. I know I talked to them and how are they, and check in on them. That's where we are with that.
Thinking back to week 1, and Austin Jackson was activated before the game, but he didn't practice all week. What would be your comfort level if one of them is activated but without practicing this week in potentially playing?
I've never had that happen, so I don't know what my comfort level or discomfort level would be. I don't know. I've never had that one happen.
Eric, you mentioned controlling what you can control. Have these past 2 seasons almost been like a master class in kind of only being able to control what you can control and focusing on that?
You mean the last 2 seasons? Help me with
Like with the COVID protocols. And
I think it's just a different way of dealing with it, but I think that's what we do the entire time. You can't control injuries, you can't control things that have happened. So we go about our work every day, and you plan the best you can. And when things change, then you have to be ready to adapt. And that's kind of what it's no different than what happens in a football game. Situations change, whatever it is. You got to be ready to adapt and be flexible, and that's what we have to do in everything.
This is the Big O Show.